Hello and welcome back to another YouTube vlog. This week I want to talk about how I am balancing being in a calorie deficit, or whatever your goal may be. Mine is specifically being in a calorie deficit with living in a new city, having plans, going out for drinks, things like that. I have a really fun and busy weekend coming up where I am going to be doing a lot more or be out of my routine a little bit more than I usually would. And so I want to kind of take you through how I'm going to set myself up for success beforehand, and then how I am going to navigate everything this weekend in real time while being in this calorie deficit, because I am not going to fully sacrifice my goals. I'm going to work around everything, all right? That's really important. And it truly just takes a little bit more effort. So I want to talk you through a little bit of kind of what the plan is, and then we will get into the rest of this week. So right now, basically my crazy time with like more plans and stuff is going to start on Friday. Right now, leading up to Friday and the weekend, I am really living life as normal. I am sticking within my calorie deficit. I'm doing my workouts. Everything is just a little more dialed in though. And I actually want to be able to increase my calories right now over the weekend a little bit more. So I am actually going a little bit deeper in my deficit for this Monday through Thursday right now. So Monday through Thursday, I am actually going to be eating about 100 to 150 calories lower than I was the past 2 weeks in my deficit. And that is going to allow me to eat a little bit over what I was eating this weekend. So I will still be within my deficit, but I'm just moving things around a little bit. So I'm going to stay really locked in on my workouts this week and really locked in on my nutrition. And we are kind of doing like the bare minimum, really locking in so I can see as much progress as I can in these next few days before it gets crazy this weekend, and to allow a little bit of wiggle room so that I can overeat on calories maybe a little bit this weekend. So I will not undereat, but I will do a little bit of a bigger deficit earlier in the week to kind of compensate for that. And all it is it takes a little bit of extra work and a little bit of effort and thinking things through. So I sat down at the beginning of the week. So what I did was go into MyFitnessPal on my phone at the beginning of the week. Can you tell I like pink? Pink phone case, pink nails, pink shirt. I went into MyFitnessPal at the beginning of the week and I laid out all of my calories so that I can see exactly what I'm going to be eating. What's that going to look like? How much protein is that going to give me? How many carbs is that going to give me on my run days? Because I still want to be doing a little bit more carbs on my run days than I do my other days. And that is another thing that I focused on and kind of moved around, is I am moving my run days to be closer to those days where I'm going to have higher calories so that I can get more carbs in without having to sacrifice anything else. So I am just eating a little bit less calories Monday through Thursday. And on Monday through Thursday, I am prioritizing my protein. And then on the weekend, when I do my runs, I will have a little bit more calories and I will prioritize carbs within those calories. And so I'm going to be going out to dinners and stuff. I can get a little bit more of a carb fuller meal. Now, the only thing is that does not mean when I go out to these dinners or lunches or anything this weekend that it is just balls to the walls, like whatever I want to eat. I am still within my calorie deficit. I am still being mindful and I am still reaching my goals. I am just having a little bit more wiggle room. Maybe if I want to get a drink, if I want to get a French fry or something like that. So, or if I want to have dessert even. I'm being a little bit lenient, but I'm not throwing everything out the window. And I think that's the difference in where people go wrong, is they get into these social settings and it is just everything goes away and they forget everything they're supposed to be working on. And that's when you wake up with a lot of regret and you don't reach your goals. So this is to show you that you can balance being in a new city, going out to drinks with friends, going out for dinner, breakfast, lunch, whatever it may be, and still hit your goals. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing that. So yeah, I'm not going to show you everything I eat Monday through Thursday this week, because it's going to be the same thing every day, so that's going to get really boring. But I will show it once. We'll do one day. And that's what I wanted to kind of talk you through right now, of what that's going to look like and how I am focusing on just a little bit more of a deficit these next few days to get to enjoy a little bit more on the weekend. So that is the plan, and now I will take you through what a day of eating and exercise is looking like for me Monday through Thursday this week, and then we'll get into the weekend. Hello! Alright, so today is the day I'm going to walk you through me doing my normal stuff, but trying to prepare for having that busier, more food heavy, more lenient weekend ahead. So basically the name of the game with calorie deficits is you can eat what you're already eating, just less of it. All right, so I already eat really whole foods and eat really clean, so I'm just eating less of what I was already eating. I have my regular yogurt bowl. Can I do influencer hands there? All right, I have this yogurt bowl. This is just Greek yogurt, blueberries, and a little bit of almond butter. I normally would not include the almond butter because it is high calorie, but I did half a serving, and I just wanted a little more something because I didn't do granola because that is way too high calorie. But this was my way of, I need something. I need to enjoy a little something at least. And then I have my 3 links of chicken sausage here. So this is the normal breakfast that I do every single day. I just made this a little bit differently. I'm not sacrificing protein here. Also with this, I actually did more Greek yogurt than I normally do. I usually just do 1 serving, which is 170 grams. Now, because I am doing less calories with granola and other foods like that in here, I instead do 200 grams of yogurt, so I'm getting a little bit more protein. So you just have to be a little strategic about it. All right, this is a lower calorie breakfast as a whole, but I am maintaining my protein and still making sure that I am getting all of those nutrients in, and this is going to keep me full until lunch. I will be okay. So yeah, it is just my normal breakfast. I just switched around the portion sizes a little bit, and that is kind of the theme of what I've been focusing on this week to get that calorie deficit down just a little bit lower, so that I can have a more lenient weekend. But I will be back to show you my lunch. So it is dinner time, and what am I having? You guessed it. I'm having a taco bowl and sweet potatoes because this is what I always do. And like I said, the name of the game for a calorie deficit is the same food that you were already eating if you were eating healthy, but just a smaller amount. And so I am having my usual taco bowl because there was nothing wrong with this in the first place. I'm just eating less of it. So I have just as much ground turkey though because I want to maintain my protein, a little bit of lettuce, half of an avocado, a little bit of cheese, and the salsa, just like I did. The thing that's missing from this though is chips. I did not do chips this week because that is where those were adding a ton of nutritional value to me. They were just there because they were tasty and they go well with the taco bowl. So that is the first thing that I am booting when I'm dropping my calories, because now I'm still getting all of this and I didn't sacrifice any nutrients with that. And then I am still doing my sweet potato fries because this is carbs, I need carbs, and I'm doing the same amount of this. So realistically, I'm eating the same amount of food I was before, minus the chips, because that was the first thing to go when it wasn't adding any nutritional value to me, all right? So when you're going through a calorie deficit, I want you to look at the foods that you're eating. What there is just for fun, because the fun stuff is gonna go first. The one that's just like the tasty treat, you could survive without it. You gotta be real tough on yourself sometimes, but if you could survive without it, it's got to go first. All right, that is what's going to get you into the calorie deficit. I am not going to sacrifice any nutrients like carbs, fats, proteins first, or at all, really. So this is what I am having for dinner tonight. Just the usual. It's not that complicated. It's just kind of boring and repetitive, but that's what gets you the results. the routine as much as we can, even though I will probably be going out and having some drinks or something tonight and going for dinner. But that doesn't mean we can't set ourselves up for success. Okay, it is almost 9 a.m. I just managed to get a 10K in, and now we are going to shower and carry on with our day. Okay, I am out of the shower and got ready for the day for a little bit, and now I'm gonna have some breakfast. Breakfast is looking a little slim, I'm not gonna lie. I have, I don't know if you can tell. I don't think you can tell. I have Greek yogurt, almond butter, and a banana. I am dangerously low on groceries. Like, I don't even have chicken sausage, I don't have bacon, I have nothing. So we are going to be slacking on some nutrients today, but I'm gonna try to make up for it as much as I can with some really good choices when I eat out. But I am gonna have this for breakfast, and then I think we are going to go grab coffee, and I'll see if there's any like protein sources that I can get there. Now that I'm thinking about it, after I made this, I probably could have done instead maybe a couple slices of sourdough with some eggs and avocado, but I wasn't thinking about that until afterwards, and so that's why it is important to slow down and plan things out, because then you realize a better option you could have done. But that's okay. Maybe I will do that for lunch if we end up eating lunch at home or not going out. I'll end up doing that instead, or I will have that to have tomorrow. Because this was the last of my yogurt, the last of my almond butter, and the last of my banana. I am telling you, I'm low on groceries. But that's where it stinks too, is then you end up kicking yourself in the butt later because you don't have enough to get by. But I'm gonna have this for breakfast, and then I will let you know what we end up doing coffee brunch wise, I guess. So this is like a late post-workout meal, if you will. Oh, and the way that I am balancing how typically I would log all of my meals beforehand, but it's kind of hard to know when some of my meals are unknown what I'm gonna do. So what I did last night for dinner and what I plan to do today is I pre-logged everything that I knew I was going to eat exactly. So I knew that I was having my normal breakfast and lunch yesterday, so I logged those, and that gave me exactly what I had left for dinner. And I even logged my dessert because I knew I was having my regular Ninja Creamy. So I just needed to know where I was at for dinner. And then I went to the restaurant's menu and I looked at what are my good options. You could even throw it in a ChatGPT if you want and ask it what the best option would be with what your macros are. And I was able to get the best option and even kind of guess on what the macros were there. It's not going to be exact, but the effort is there. It's the thought that counts kind of thing. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to log this, and today's a little bit more unknown, so I probably won't pre-log a ton, but I will have a pretty good idea of where I'm sitting most of the day, and so that can impact my decisions when I eat out later. So yeah, that is kind of the TLDR on how I plan to do that, and yeah, I will see you for coffee later. We did end up eating lunch at home, and so I am literally using the very last of my groceries, and I have avocado toast with egg, and yeah, this is gonna be my little lunch snack. I also had one of those little cutie oranges. Okay, good morning. We are gonna try for the beach again today. I am just gonna go on another run. It's Sunday. I don't typically work out on Sundays, but because I did a shorter run yesterday, I thought I'd just do the same again today. I really enjoyed it. So I'm just gonna go to my apartment gym, hop on a show on my tablet, and run for probably an hour again. Wasn't too bad. So we did not go to the beach yesterday. It was like actually really cold and rainy, and it is right now too, but it's supposed to get nicer later, so we're gonna try for the beach later. We will see how that goes, but regardless, I will keep you updated on how nutrition goes with that. I have a little bit of a plan that I will walk you guys through later, but for now, I am gonna go get a workout in before my day starts, because like I said yesterday, it is the one thing that I can control and keep consistent, and really sets me up to feel good for the rest of the day, no matter how it goes. Alright, we just finished up another 10K. It was an hour of running, 6.2 miles again today. Felt really good. I feel like my heart rate has been improving, which is so exciting. But I truly have no idea what we're going to get into today. what I'm gonna eat. I have no idea. Like I said yesterday, I'm really, really low on groceries, so I know if I want to control my breakfast a little bit, I know that I have eggs, sourdough, and avocado, so I will probably do that for breakfast because it's also literally the only thing I have, but it's also really good after a run to have that, so it works out well. And then I don't know what we will get into, but I know that I have set myself up for success by getting my workout in still and making sure I'm having a good, healthy, fits in my macros, nourishing breakfast. And that's all that I can do. And I think that's the key to this, is you just gotta set yourself up for success. I could go out and eat total junk the rest of the day, but at least I did something to benefit myself. And that's the key here. So I'm really unsure what we will have, but I will always be mindful of what I am eating, and I already know that I've gotten the hardest part of my day done, and now I can go and nourish my body with some really yummy food that fits well into my macros, and I will come back and show you what we get into the rest of the day. Same breakfast as yesterday. I have 2 eggs, 2 slices of toast, and an avocado. Almost 4 o'clock, and I didn't have lunch because I had such a big breakfast, and then I had coffee, and we got home at a weird time. So we have a dinner reservation at 6. I am just gonna have this snack plate. It is 1 cutie, the biggest apple I've ever seen in my life, and a banana. And where we're going tonight is not the best for my calorie deficit and the nutrients that I need today. Protein is gonna be very low, and that's okay. I told myself that I was not going to be super strict with things. I'm doing what I can this weekend, and that's the name of the game. I don't even have protein powder here that I could like have to kind of supplement me. I am so out of groceries now, so it's going to be a really low protein day, probably a little bit of a higher carb day, but that's okay because I went on a run this morning and we're still being mindful, and that is what is important. So I'm going to have this little snack plate before I start getting ready. Good morning and happy Monday. I am headed to go do a workout. So about last night, went to dinner. I got the meatballs. That was kind of like the best option on the menu, so wasn't the best. My protein was definitely low yesterday, but I made it work how I could, and I did end up having some ice cream last night, so definitely does not fit within what the calorie deficit should be, but that is why I lowered my calories throughout the rest of the week earlier this week, and I told myself that this was a little bit of a break. I was allowed to enjoy myself, not be too strict. I definitely would have preferred if I didn't have the ice cream, but I did it. I'm not going to beat myself up over it that much, and we will move on from there. So it is Monday. This is going to be my last day of balancing this calorie deficit while having visitors and whatnot. And yeah, I am headed to go get a full body lift in, and then today will probably be a little bit more normalcy. I still don't have groceries. I am going grocery shopping today, I promise. But for now, I will see if I'm gonna do breakfast at home, which will probably be the avocado toast with eggs again. Or we're gonna go to a coffee shop, and so maybe I'll see if there's like a better breakfast option there. I'm not sure. We shall see, but that is the plan as of now, and we'll see where the day takes us. But as always, I'm going to set myself up for success right now. So let's go get a workout in. Okay, workout is complete. It wasn't the hardest workout in the world. It wasn't the longest workout in the world, but it was a workout nonetheless, especially after a night of drinking. And eating some not so great food. So again, though, we're sticking with the routines as much as we can. Like I said, still don't have groceries, but we are gonna go to a cafe this morning, and what I did was looked up the menu online, made sure that there was something that I think would be good, weighed my options of, okay, I could have more of my like carb heavy breakfast that I have been having, even though I didn't go on a run today and ate a little too much carbs probably last night. Or I could get a little bit of a lower calorie, higher protein option that's at this cafe. And so I'm definitely gonna go with that option. It's definitely gonna fit into my macros better. So that is what we're gonna do. It just takes some planning, and that's okay. So yeah, that is the plan of action. I am gonna shower and then we're gonna go to the cafe. So I am going to wrap up this video here. Thank you for tagging along and letting me show you the balance of being in a calorie deficit but still living your life, whether that is plans with friends, living in a new city, going on vacation, whatever it may be. It's not perfect. I was not perfect, and that is okay. I think this shows the real rawness of it, and not that you're not going to be 100% perfect 100% of the time, and it's kind of how you roll with the punches and how you deal with it. And I don't want to make excuses, because I think I did kind of fall off. Like, I had ice cream, I had a churro, but I'm not going to be mad at myself, because that's kind of how I preface this. And I knew I wouldn't be 100% perfect, and that's okay. I think I did really, really well though, and I think that's what matters. And so I hope that this shows you that you can have some balance too, and it's okay if you're not perfect in it, but I think it's the effort that you go into it with that matters, and what you do majority of the time. Like, majority of this weekend, I was really great, and I set myself up earlier in the week too by lowering my calories a little bit, because I knew I'd probably go over this weekend. So I think I did everything I needed to do. I would love to have done better, but it was a learning experience, and I think that's okay. So I hope that this video taught you some things and showed you some things, and maybe showed you how to navigate ordering at a restaurant if you're trying to be mindful of your goals and things like that. And so yeah, this was really fun. It really held me accountable too, to think about what I was going to order and how I wanted to handle things, and being able to talk through that is always great. Definitely should have gotten more groceries this week, for sure. I got groceries yesterday, and I'm so excited to have whatever I want to eat at home and have all of that. Yeah, definitely needed more groceries. Maybe we'll do a grocery haul next week. I feel like that could be fun. But I am going to leave you here, and now we are going to pick back up in the next video on getting back on track, getting our life together after a big trip, a vacation, plans with friends, anything, having guests, moving. I need to get my shit together this week for sure. So I already went grocery shopping and everything, but we will get into that in the next video. I am so glad that I could share this with you, and hope that it was very knowledgeable and fun, and you were able to take something from it. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.